Labor and rent. Rent's huge. Supplies have gone up.
Many restaurants in Vancouver are struggling to make ends meet. And this Easter long weekend, local eateries are hoping for a much needed boost in business.
Maybe out of the 7 days, 3 days, customers are coming.
Here in Olympic Village, Matt Adolfo, the owner of Bow Down, a colorful Asian fusion restaurant in its 9th year of operation, says he's feeling the pinch as business isn't what it used to be.
Front of house, obviously, they want their tips is what they live off of as well, on top of the salary and what we pay them. But at the same time, it's not as many customers.
Adolfo says being a small business owner in Vancouver can be a struggle, as the cost to run a business in the city comes with high operating costs at baseline. Are you noticing inflation costs in terms of buying produce?
A lot. Limes, for example, like a case that we used to pay $40 for was at one time $110 last week.
According to Restaurants Canada, 62% of restaurants are operating at a loss or barely breaking even, and bankruptcies are at the highest annual figure in a decade.
Big issue right now with restaurants is profitability. It's really because inflation has gone up so much, and it's gone up faster than our ability to raise prices on menus. And hey, you know what? Who wants to have a $30 hamburger?
Ian Tosseson with BC Restaurants and Food Services Association says more than a dozen restaurants in Vancouver alone are set to close in March due to financial constraints.
Bankruptcies are on the rise. We're seeing a lot of independent restaurants that are just cashing in for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, number one is that it's just not worth it, because there's no profit left.
7-Inch Waffle House, a brick-and-mortar cafe specializing in not-so-safe-for-work-shaped waffles, will be shutting down its doors at the end of the month. The manager tells us the rising operating costs led to them deciding not to renew their lease agreement. Instead, they're going to focus on local pop-up events and festivals like Pride and the Richmond Night Market.
I wasn't aware that it's the last weekend, actually. We just happened to show up today. It's rough. It's really hard for them. It's very sad to hear that they won't be able to make it through this.
Opening a small business in Vancouver especially is really hard to stay afloat because everything's so expensive and inflation's really bad right now.
Back at Bow Down, the owner says to make up for the decline in business, he's had to find other ways to generate revenue to keep up with the rising tide of costs on all fronts.
Catering has been huge. We've been doing hot lunches for schools. It's been helping out a lot.
In Vancouver, Angela Bauer, City News.